That was a real cinematic explosion there. That was actually the first motion picture ever in 1889, so that's quite a feat, I guess, for Thomas Edison, who invented the motion picture. But actually, William Dixon, who was his assistant at the time, should get credit. All the creative credit. Edison obviously had a name at that time. He was well established, already invented the telephone, the telegraph. So I think he established the research ability and the laboratory for William Dixon to bring us the motion picture, which is interesting. And one more thing Dixon did was invent the first projector in 1891, called the kinetoscope. And I believe that worked. It was kind of like a lantern with like 12 windows and like had light going through it, and it obviously projects it. It is tidbits like that that Inside the Projection Room will bring you, because it is our love for movies that keep this going. And we're here to talk about movies, and this is our first show, and we're basically a movie reviewing engine and movie talking engine. So, and I should mention this now sooner than later, if you want to write in or comment on the show, or you send us hate mail or whatever you want to do, send it to insidetheprojectionroom@gmail.com, which is right here. So we would definitely appreciate that, good or bad, because we would like to show feedback on the next show of our one viewer. Movies have changed so much since the beginning in the 1800s. It's much more complex now, many elements, and we are actually in a very dark area of filmmaking right now. Very, very dark territory with Steven Seagal right now. And we'll touch on that and as shows go on. But it makes me think back to the first time I even thought about making a movie in the early 90s, which was smack dab in the independent movie craze. The El Mariachi, Robert Rodriguez, Rebel Without a Crew, let's go make this for $5,000 movie. Bottle Rocket, Swingers, a lot of movies that were made for nothing, and it was a great time. And I think the poster child for that era was a movie called Reservoir Dogs, which is the movie of the week. Quentin Tarantino directed it. Great movie. The first time I saw Reservoir Dogs, I was in my home in Georgia, North Georgia. Let's take a look at that movie.
I ignored it before, but no more. You lost your fucking mind.
Joe, you're making a terrible mistake I'm not gonna let you make.
Come on, guys. Nobody wants this. We're supposed to be fucking professionals.
Hey, look. It's been quite a long time. A lot of jobs. There's no need for this, man. Let's just put our guns down and let's settle this with a fucking conversation.
Joe, if you kill that man, you die next. Repeat, if you kill that man, you die next.
Larry, we have been friends. And you respect my dad and I respect you, but I will put fucking bullets right through your heart. You put that fucking gun down now.
God damn you, Joe. Don't make me do this.
Larry, stop pointing that fucking gun at my dad!
That was Reservoir Dogs. You know, the first time I saw that movie, I thought, here's what I thought. Maybe it was late, maybe I was tired, but my brother said, watch this movie. And I watched it and I was thinking, Reservoir Dogs, I saw the suits on the front, the guns, well, this is going to be an action movie, this is going to be awesome. And it was slow. I was like, is Tim Roth ever going to get out of his fucking blood? Is he ever going to die? Is he ever, I mean, you know, he gets shot early on in the movie, that scene. And he gets at a warehouse and he's in the pool of blood the entire movie. And then you're just sitting there thinking, jeez Louise, let's do this. And why does he do that? And I think, I mean, that's a question to you. Why does he lay in that blood the whole movie? To me, it was like this violent, like, just briar in the side of like, oh, Tarantino is wandering around in this violence, you know? It's very violent, you know? Very violent, very violent. So that's a question why he did that. Another question would be to ask, did they shoot this, you know, the scenes are non-linear and they come out and they're all different ways. Is that a decision he made before he shot? Is that something he already had an idea of a script like that? Or was it in linear fashion? You know, that's something I always wondered and still don't know today. So if you know that, let me know. Email. Reservoir Dogs is, or was, a great film. You should check out the DVD extras because it's double disc. They talk a lot about when they screened at Sundance and the problems that they had, which was very interesting to hear. And there's a lot of critics also talk about Tarantino and like how the take on Tarantino, the public's perception of him, because he gets a lot of bad press, which is bullshit in my opinion. So Reservoir Dogs is a great film. I sound like a dick. This segues me into my review of the week, which is Inglourious Bastards. And you know, he has made a lot of movies, and to see where he was in Reservoir Dogs, I think these movies are similar because he made that on nothing and he made it how he wanted to make it. And I think he did that. He's to finally the level now where he has complete control, and he basically made a made-up suicide of Hitler and how he would do it. And like, who does it? I mean, that's where he's at as a filmmaker, and that's amazing to me. And like, how do you get there? Him being Jewish, it was just like watching that movie. I was like, is this? I didn't know a lot about it, and I didn't know if it was a remake because there is a film called Inglourious Bastards made in the '70s, and it has nothing to do with the other, I don't think. So to see him just make this movie hammers in the nail of I'm Quentin Tarantino, the one last creative person in Hollywood. Next week we're going to talk about another movie, which I don't know yet because I haven't seen one. It's so hard to get out there and see a movie a week because the economy is terrible and movies are expensive these days. But there are a few theaters in Hollywood where you can go there where there are cheap movies. New Beverly, between Fairfax and La Brea on Beverly. I always have a double feature starting around 7. That's a great place to go, cheap. Fairfax Cinemas, Fairfax Marquee, I don't know what it's called, it's just west of Fairfax on Beverly as well. They show a midnight show. They have other shows too that are cheap, but the midnight show this Friday, the 29th, is Never Ending Story. Never Ending Story. I love that movie. Not to be confused with The Last Starfighter. Next we're going to touch on our Patrick Swayze, remembering Patrick Swayze because that was a big loss, and I'm going to take a look back at some of his greatness. First movie I ever made was Point Break 2. So maybe we'll show a clip from that. You've been inside the projection room. See you next time.